with me. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 And an oldie but goodie. Ki yishmer ha-Shabbat yishmereini. Ki yishmer ha-Shabbat yishmereini. Oti le'olamei ad beno veni. Oti le'olamei ad beno veni. Yishmer ha-Shabbat yishmereini. Ki yishmer ha-Shabbat yishmereini.
Shabbat Shalom. I do love those oldies but goodies, you know. We are so glad you are with us wherever you are on this Shabbat. We welcome you. For those of you who were together just before our service began at the pre-neg, as we were calling it. We hope you had the chance to light candles, and wherever you are, as we are now well into the summer month, we won't be lighting candles in our service for another number of months as the sun is still high in the sky, but do invite you wherever you are to do that if you haven't already and you'd like. We want to make sure you have the chance to introduce yourself wherever you are. If you're with us on our website, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, there are chat features in all of those places. We want you to introduce yourselves there. Wish the congregation at large a Shabbat Shalom. We also want you to be able to follow along with us in our service. And you can do that by following along in the flip book. There, if you're with us on Facebook, there should right about now be a link, if it hasn't been put there already, to our flip book. You can also find it on our website, www.nsci.org/Shabbat. And if you go down to where it details the information about tonight's Shabbat service, you will see a link to it there as well. We really want you to be with us, to sing with us, to pray with us, to create community with us in whatever way we can. And so in that spirit, we invite you to turn to page 9 in your prayer book. So we'll take an opportunity to frame the experience of Shabbat, to put ourselves in the mood of Shabbat together. Please read with me. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. In that spirit of peace and welcome, let's welcome the angels of Shabbat with us here, singing Shalom Aleichem. You can follow along on page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchu Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי אלון, ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Let's move forward to the middle of page 29. Oh God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Oh, let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and the joy of your presence. We continue singing Ahavat Olam, page 32.
Ahavat Olam, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, אל תסיר ממנו, אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Page 37. Before we join together in the reading on the top of page 37, I just want to draw your attention actually to the notes in the bottom. We often don't spend a lot of time in these notes, but I find myself really finding inspiration from them, and especially at this time, I'm drawn to the teaching of Martin Buber, the second one in the notes. And I'd just like to read it out loud for your consideration as a framing for what we'll read together in just a moment. Martin Buber famously taught the following: when people come to you for help, do not turn them off with pious words saying, "Have faith and take your troubles to God." Act instead as if there were no God, as though there were only one person in all the world who could help, only yourself. Let's join together at the top of that page. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. Let's continue singing Mi Chamocha, page 40.
כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, אדוני אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה הביאנו ואמרו, זה הביאנו ואמרו, אדוני אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, אדוני אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
In Mi Chamocha, we celebrate our freedom, and then we transition over to Hashkivenu, where we pray to God for a shelter of peace. In these fraught days, we offer the following blessing. Our God and God of all people, whose image is encoded in each and every human face, diversified and innumerable as the stars in the heavens, whose oneness is interlaced throughout every fiber of every member of the human family. Help us, God, this day and every day to resist the idolatrous temptations birthed with the worship of the sovereign self. Make clear for us all that in elevating the self over all else, we turn ourselves into pharaohs, hardening our hearts to those around us, enslaving ourselves to the worst of our human tendencies. God of every life, God of all life, help us to remember that the distance and boundaries we impose with words like North Shore or West Side, with school districts, with zip codes, these are not of your making, but of ours. They are human constructs that diminish our greatest potential and deny your truth that no one person is greater or lesser than any other, but that every person, as a child of God, an image of you, stands as a partner with you, each and all destined to be enactors of your grandest vision and ultimate plan. God of every life, God of all life, you know the world as it is not the world as it ought to be. But as your partners in this world's healing and wholeness, let us make known to you and to each other that our prayers for unity will not be realized through our words alone to you, but through how our actions reflect you in this world you created for us. This day, every day, let us bind ourselves to one another so that your shelter of peace might extend over each and every soul in a world built on the foundations of equity, justice, and unity for all. Page 42.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ושמור רפתנו ורואינו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
Ahad Ha'am once said, more than the Jewish people has kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept the Jewish people. Yismachu is on page 44.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג המקדשי נביאים. כולם ישמחו ויתענגו מטובך. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. והשבי רצית בו וקידשתו. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וכל עונג ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וכל עונג חמדת ימים אותו קראת זכר מעשה בראשית ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וכל עונג ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וכל עונג שומרי שבת וכל עונג שומרי שבת.
We move forward now to page 65. And as you arrive there, I'll invite you to read with me. Let us praise Adonai, source of knowledge and light, from whom we draw wisdom and insight. Let us savor the fullness of each and every day and fill our souls with the treasures of Shabbat. And let us appreciate these distinctions, sacred from profane, charity from greed, purpose from drift. Let us affirm our covenant as God's people. Let us honor those who study Torah. Let us uphold the truth of ongoing revelation. Let us celebrate the glory of our tradition and draw refreshment from the well springs of prayer. Let us respect tradition and encourage creative faith. And let us dress ourselves in the garments of God, compassion for the needy, embrace of the stranger, and then spread the canopy of peace over all the world. We began last week with a little bit of a new addition into our Shabbat worship, offering an opportunity communally to acknowledge the wonderful things that are happening in our lives. We spend time every week offering prayers for healing and wholeness, which we will also do in a few minutes, but we want to take time to celebrate with you, to honor the excitement, the joy, the new, the things that bring us light in our lives. So perhaps you're marking a special occasion, a birthday, an anniversary. Perhaps something wonderful has happened in your life or the life of a family member or a friend. We'd invite you, if you'd like, to share that with us in the chat so that our community can see that and celebrate that with you. Or if you'd like, just to say it out loud, just to put it out there into the universe. It's how we spread positive energy together. And so as we do that, we just want to honor these wonderful moments in each and all of our lives with the words of Shehechianu. So wherever you are, please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. You give us this life. You sustain us. You've enabled us to reach this day, this moment. We say together, Amen. In that spirit of gratitude, in that spirit of thanksgiving, we turn to singing Selah. You can find it on page 58, 6 lines from the bottom in the Hebrew.
וכל החיים ידעו סלע, סלע, סלע. סלע, וכל החיים ידעוך סלע, 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 סלע. ויהללו את שמך באמת, האל ישועתנו ועזרתנו, סלע, סלע, סלע. וכל החיים ידעוך סלע, 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 ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך ולך נאה. להודות. סלע, 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 סלע. Yalalai, alalai, alalai, lai. Sela, sela, sela. Sela, sela, sela. Sela, sela, sela.
And so we move from thanksgiving to yearning as we call to our hearts, to our minds, those in our community, those in our lives who are in need of healing, healing of body, healing of spirit. If you're holding in your heart someone, or perhaps many, this Shabbat, who are struggling with illness, physical illness, mental illness. Perhaps you are holding someone in your heart who is isolated and alone, yearning for connection. Perhaps you're holding in your heart someone who you just know is a little less than whole, and you wish for them to feel filled up. For whomever you pray, for others, for yourselves, for those we know, for those we don't know. We join together in this prayer for healing. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. As we sing Shalom Rav, I'll invite you, if you haven't already, to type the names of those for whom you pray in our chat, so that all of their names will be mingled together in our prayer for a great peace, a great wholeness, one that should encompass us all. And so it is that we turn now to memory, and we call to our hearts and to our minds those who are no longer here with us physically, but those whose memories abide, those whose legacies we carry on in our own lives. First, we remember those who've died in the last 30 days, those whose families mourn in Shloshim. And so we remember Judy Berger, Ralph B. Block, Mark Fintel, Diane Fixler, Ilana Gruenberg, Sherwin Jack Koloff, Harold Rabin, Erwin Mark Rosenblum, Stephanie Sherman, Richard Siegel, Alexander Smolovsky. We also remember those whose yard sites fall this week: Irene Abrahams, Ida Edelstein, Sylvia A. Altschuler, Louis B. Barrick, Nathan Bierman, Fanny Bergeda, Eleanor Berman, Dr. Milton H. Bronstein, Bruce Colton, Beatrice Coopersmith, Aaron Dorfman, Bill Dorfman, Albert Dubrow, Anna Coates Edelstein, Jesse Eisen, Fritzie Azro Eisenberg, Isidore Eubanks, Eleanor Feld, Betty Fishman, Max Fishman, S. Lillian Uvular Friedman, Gertrude Galler, Sigmund Galler, Dora Gallen, Alger D. Goldfarb, Helene L. Golub, Selig Gottheiner, David Falk Gould, Sheila Greenblatt, Henrietta Teplitsky Harris, Queenie Havers, Janet Hurwitch, Bessie Frank Isaacson, Edward D. Jacobs, Ronnie Jacobs, Simon Lowell Jacobs, Harold I. Kaufman, S. Bert Krasnow, Joan Kritz, Marilyn Levine, Francis Lieberstein, Jordan H. Lipman, Robert Sheldon Lubin, Marilyn Malter, Susan Melvoin Martin, Irene Michaels, Joanne Miller, Phil Moskowitz, Menashe Ben Menachem Naib, Bernice S. Neerman Levin, Ann Nusenow, Liba Raphael, Norman Rozowski, Ruth Ritt, Sidney L. Robin, Sandra Rosenberg, William S. Rothschild II, David Rosenzweig, George Rutke, G. David Schein, Walter Schulman, Ida Dorfman Schwartz, Sophie Silverman, William Harris Smith, Elias Sonnenthal, Larry Stone, Mandel Sweet, George Tomashow, Lester Weil, Maud Weil, Trevor D. Weiss, Natalie Wold, Nancy S. Wolf, Mary Zuckerman. All of their memories are blessings. We invite you to join us in the Words of Mourners Kaddish, page 294 in the flip book, or there should now be a link to a separate PDF of only the Words of Mourners Kaddish. Let's join together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divarach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam l'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit alev, v'yit halal, shemei dekudsha brichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace and comfort to us, to all Israel, and to all the world. We say together, amen. We're so glad you've been with us this Shabbat. We have more Shabbat to come, so we do hope you will join us tomorrow morning at 9:15. Rabbi Daniels and I will be leading our Shabbat morning experience. And then we hope you will join us at 7:30 on Facebook for our weekly Havdalah service, this week to be led by the Levin and Mazer families. We're really excited to see some wonderful faces of those we've missed. It's always a neat way to note and mark the end of Shabbat communally with friends who you get to see and share with. So please do join us there and keep your eyes open for all of our upcoming events this week. Words of gratitude to Adam Rubin. Thank you, Adam, for making this possible on the internet. We are so grateful to you. And Adam is moving this week, so we wish him luck and ease. He's not moving out of town, he's just moving residences. So we hope that that will be smooth and peaceful, just like we want Shabbat to be for everyone. Our service will conclude with Oseh Shalom. You can see that in the last 3 lines of the Mourner's Kaddish, again on the PDF attachment or in the flip book on page 294. Let's sing.
Oseh Shalom bimroma, Oseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom bimroma, Oseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya Oseh Shalom bimroma, Oseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.